Yes, another video that's adjacent to the topic of Project 2025. And I know everybody's getting tired of all the Project 2025 talk, and every time I post a video about it, it doesn't get as many views because people are, they think they know everything about it. But don't click away, because you need to know about some of the characters that are involved in the plot, in the planning, in the documentation of the writing, of the implementation of this particular Project 2025. And Mark Krikorian is a guy who was on, he's a Project 2025 board member. Wanted to get his position right. He's on the board. He's responsible for aspects of creating this plot against America. And the reason that I want to talk about this guy is Greg Casar, yesterday, a congressman from Texas, outlined in a masterful way. I'm going to play two clips from the same exact moment. We're going to play the clip, stop it, and then start exactly where we left off. First, Greg Casar outlines who Mark Krikorian is, introduces who we're dealing with. And then they get into not only some of the writers, in this clip, they're going to introduce some of the writers, these white supremacists and white nationalists, famous white nationalists like Jared Taylor, people who attended Unite the Right in Charlottesville, people who are avowed, open, public-facing racists that this guy, Mark Krikorian, has shared the writings of. And then in the clip, he says, well, we've also shared articles from the New York Times. Yeah, but you're also sharing Nazi shit. And you're a board member of Project 2025. This is why this is important, because we want to know who's behind it. What are the ideas? What's the brain trust that's behind the implementation of this fascist plan? And no shock, it's actual fascists. So in this first clip, he's introducing who this guy is. And in the second clip, we learn a little bit more about some of the pernicious racist ideas about how slavery in Haiti actually should have continued on for decades and the country would be stronger for it. First, though, who is Mark Krikorian?
Good morning. Mr. Krikorian, you're an advisory board member for Project 2025, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Krikorian, in addition to being a Project 2025 board member, you also run the Center for Immigration Studies. You've done that for decades, where you spread and disseminated writings of people like Kevin McDonald, John Friend, and Jared Taylor, correct?
We used to have an email service that distributed links to
those
op-ed.
to their writings. That's right.
And the New York Times and all kinds of other.
Correct. And yes, I know that you're aware that you spread the writings of these three along with others, but these three are egregious examples. McDonald is the editor of a white nationalist journal. Your organization, as you said, disseminated his writings. He blamed Jewish people for the deaths of millions of people in the 20th century. John Friend, who you just said you disseminated his writings, is an infamous Holocaust denier. You spread his writings. Jared Taylor stated, quote, and I quote, this horrible quote, that when black people are left on their own, civilization disappears, end quote. That's what he said. You, a Project 2025,
you distributed only.
You only distributed. Correct. I understand. I'm reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman. Correct. You only disseminated writings from multiple white nationalists. Reclaiming my time. I'm going to ask you a question, sir. I'm going to ask you the next question.
Wrote about immigration.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman. I'd like that time back. So you, a Project 2025 board member, you're stating you did not disseminate, for example, Mr. Taylor, Mr. McDonald, or Mr. Friend's specific quotes here, but you just continuously disseminated these white nationalists' writing. One time is a problem. When you do it over and over and over again, it's a pattern. But I'll stop asking about the things that you and your organization disseminated. I'll ask you, Mr. Krikorian, and I know you're a Project 2025 board member, your recent quote from a few years ago where you said, quote, Haiti is so screwed up because it wasn't colonized long enough, end quote. Is that correct? Did you say that?
I'm happy to talk about that all you want.
You did say it, that's right.
I wrote it, yes.
You said that.
I don't know if this is just a natural order, that the way these clips are being played, or if this was by design by Greg Casar, because it's masterful. This is who you are. This is who you've supported. This is the lay of the land, providing the roadmap. And then here in the clip I'm getting ready to show you that'll just continue on is him laying out some of the views, the insane, pernicious, gross views of this very man. It's not just that he shared the writings of white nationalists, white supremacists, Nazi types. It's that he also shares insane views about slavery and black people. Watch this.
Haiti was colonized as a slave plantation colony. The French colonized Haiti so that slaves would work on plantations. The end of colonization in Haiti was so that the people there would no longer be slaves. So what you're saying, and I read your quote, and anybody watching this online should go read it. What you're saying is it would have been good if they'd stayed colonized, which means that it would have been good if they had stayed enslaved by the French.
In the long run, it's one of the
in the long run,
history. No,
people shouldn't have been enslaved a single day. I'm reclaiming my time, Chairman.
And they had every right. They had every right to throw the.
What
French
you said
out.
is that
My
you would have
point
wanted
is,
them. Reclaiming my time. I'm talking now.
They would have been freed
You
30
said
years later,
you said-
and they would have been in the same situation.
You're saying you wanted 30 more years of slavery in Haiti. Reclaiming
No, I
my
did
time.
not. I did
You
not.
just said
I
it.
do not
Honestly,
want that.
it adds up. You said that they would have benefited from the French influence.
In
the French
long
were
run,
the ones.
like the people in Martinique and
Reclaiming my
Guadeloupe,
time, Mr.
who
Chairman.
were
I'd like my time
also
back. Please, Mr. Chairman,
enslaved.
my time. This is my time, Mr. Krikorian.
They are much better off.
Honestly,
now
this
than
all
Haiti
starts
was.
to add up. This all starts to add up. You continue to do this, disseminate writings of white nationalists, try to rationalize, for example, Haiti being colonized for 30 more years. You're a Project 2025 board member. In Project 2025, I couldn't figure out why on page 583, it advocates for not allowing racial disparity or gender disparity to be considered discrimination legally anymore. In Project 2025, it eliminates a 50-year-old executive order that prohibits discrimination in federal jobs. On page 586, Project 2025 advocates for Donald Trump to allow businesses to discriminate based on religious beliefs. Before today, I couldn't understand why Trump's Project 2025 could advocate for ending civil rights protections. Why would Trump's Project 2025, I know there's crazy stuff in here, but I couldn't get why it would advocate for ending protections against discrimination. But now I understand.
It would have been better in the long run if Haitians would have been enslaved for decades longer than they were. Look, if you know the history of Haiti, you should look into it. It is fascinating. They are a resilient, defiant, strong people. Slaughtered their enslavers. I mean, it's a movies should be made about this if they haven't already. It is a great story. I mean, horrible, horrific, because it deals with the enslavement of an entire population of people. But they didn't take it laying down. They did what slaves here in the United States of America should have done, which was rise up. It was just too entrenched here. It was a different system, and they weren't able to get it done en masse. But this is masterful. This is shining a light on the people who are responsible for Project 2025. We need more of this. We need more of these new upstart Congress people to do more of this. What do you think? I would love to know. You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, you can email me as always daily at dollemore.com. Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to help produce this work, you can click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, or you can go over to my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Doesn't just support the podcast, absolutely supports this work on this channel as well. Follow me on social media. I've been saying you can be miserable with me there. If that's in your makeup, join me there. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. I'd love to see you. And I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.